Now, chapter 2 is understanding the context of globalization. So, globalization is really important in intercultural communication because it's the dominant force that kind of impacts how we communicate in today's world. And it's so important that Catherine Soros has actually made it one of her subtitles of her book, Intercultural Communication, along with social justice. So it's globalization and social justice. And so, what is globalization? Globalization is the interconnection and interdependence between countries, people. It's the flow of people around the world, goods, products, and it's also images, the way images circulate around the world. Now, globalization has been with us for a long, long time, as the chapter will point out, but we're really in this contemporary moment of globalization where people often talk about how like the world has gotten smaller because of advancements in transportation and communication technologies, right? So information can travel instantaneously, right? You can hop on a plane and be in Europe or somewhere in 8 hours, 12 hours, something like that, right? You could go to Turkey in 14 hours, right? And so advances like that, right, have really shrunken the world and really increased globalization in this movement of people that we see. Yes, it's also migration and the migration that we see happening all over the world for different reasons. People are often pushed and pulled. And so globalization is a huge factor for understanding intercultural communication. And so your book, and this is great, Sorrells, the author of our textbook, starts off with these 5 scenarios. And I really like this one. I think they're all good, but this is a powerful scenario, and it's talking about intercultural communication and romantic relationships. So Grace, a Filipina, goes to Italy to meet her Italian boyfriend's parents. When they meet, his parents say, "But where is your girlfriend, the American? Why did she send a maid?" And so there's a lot here to unpack, but it all really connects to globalization. So particularly the way that because of diaspora, right, people are now spread all over the world, right? Uh, the ways that the stereotypes that we have about each other, right, are also a result of globalization because of things like the images that circulate and what we think of as an American or, an Italian or a Filipina, right, are all heavily influenced by the stereotypes and the images that circulate. The fact that, yeah, there's more increasing intercultural kinds of relationships, right? And people with different backgrounds becoming couples, right? And traveling to different parts of the world, right? And so it's just really interesting, right? The Italian parents' stereotypes of what is an American, right? And then just the way that they assume that she's the maid, right? There's just so much sort of history and inequity in that sort of assumption, right? That a non-white woman, of course, has to be the maid, right? So really, really problematic, but also just powerful because it really highlights so much that's at play in this era of globalization, right? Yeah, what issues are influencing Grace's interaction with her boyfriends and parents? Yeah, stereotypes, right? Lack of understanding of each other, right? Of what is an American, right? The image in their heads, right, is really conflicting. So yeah, definitely a really powerful scenario that speaks to what's going on when we talk about globalization. Again, it's not just the flow of people, but yeah, the fact that they could travel quickly to go to Italy, right, is because of transportation technologies. And then the ways that her parents have been influenced by the flow of images, right, is equally powerful. So this context of globalization is huge for understanding intercultural communication.